I wanted to show you a quick craft. So I always tell you how these are really hard and you can make bracelets out of them. So ribbon rolls, this is the bracelet that I made. I showed you in a previous video how you can do it, but then I redid it so that it would be a little bit better because I did it really fast on camera. So what I did was I put the ribbon all around and then towards this point, and you can see it kind of forms a point. Let me just brighten the screen one more time. Okay. You see at this point, I did it so that it can go in. So when you're wrapping it around, all you have to do is put one part of the ribbon on top of the other and then tilt it like this so that it can have a decorative part. So let me pause this and show you it on. So this is how it looks on, and that's it. And then you just kind of hot glue. What I did was I didn't want to hot glue in the center too much because I didn't want it to show. So I hot glued towards the ends and inside. So I just wanted to show you that craft really fast. And now I'll go into more of what's going on. So what I'm doing now, as you guys probably see, and I appreciate there's someone who left a really good comment saying I don't have to prove myself because they're terrorists. But it helps me because this is part of what this was about. It was supposed to mess with my memory. And I wasn't supposed to be able to remember things. And so they keep talking at night while I'm sleeping, trying to confuse my memory. So sometimes I have to double check. Now that I'm getting ready to move, they're upset because they said they planned this whole thing around me, which is what I'm saying. If this had always been happening and had it been legal, they wouldn't be upset that I'm moving. They would be happy. That was part of what they wanted. They wanted me to leave. But once they started planning this whole thing around me, that's when they wanted me to stay here and just live with them as this illegal operation. So what I wanted to tell you folks about all of this now, as as their plan is unraveling because it depends on me, I wondered to myself, oh, why can't it depend on them? I was never, like I said to you, now you guys know for sure I wasn't interesting. As I'm going over the videos from the past and I'm looking at them and they're upset by me saying this word or me saying that, one of the things they keep talking about today was that I wasn't into marijuana. So they lied and said I was into marijuana. I was given marijuana. They know I wasn't. That would have been the first thing they said during that video. Why, that video I think was from 2022. Why, like, wait, what is this? The end of 2024 almost? What, November something? And now all of a sudden I'm a marijuana smoker. And they said, well, I would offend people. They keep bringing up a certain musician. I don't want to say his name. I'm tired of them talking about celebrities. But this musician I'm a huge fan of. He's part of a band. And God forbid anything happens to anyone else they mention. If there's something going on and you folks are watching, make sure you check on people who you think may have a problem. That's a really big deal. Check on people who you may think may have a problem. If God forbid something happens to anyone that they've been mentioning, it's out loud. So there's proof that they mentioned these people. But going back to this, they said, well, do I feel like his fans or he won't like me because I said I'm not into marijuana? No. So they talked about other musicians people who are into marijuana. Do I feel that they won't like me? No. Do I feel that speaking my mind? I'm going to pause if someone's at the door. So anyway, so they said, oh, I said I'm going to lighten it up again. Yeah, because the screen was light and they made it dark. So I'm going to make it light again. I'm having a hard time understanding their English and they're having a hard time understanding my English. To me, if something was light and then it becomes dark, you make it light again. I don't know. Anyway, they took that to mean I lightened it before and I'm going to relighten it. For you people who speak English as your primary language, could you explain that to me? Because I don't understand what they mean. It doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, so what I'm talking about now is that, if this was supposed to revolve around me, that's my point. It did change. Something changed in 2016. Their lives never revolved around me. And even when they're trying to lie and say, well, what about this person? Those people weren't even around. So they darkened the screen and now I'm lightening it. You see, now I'm going like this. to lighten it. So my point was their lives never revolved around me. So what changed? That's what I'm saying. Like, I've shown you guys proof that their lives didn't revolve around me. Certainly everything, there's a program, I'm lightening it. There's a program where I'm like the center of their universe. There was never that program before. So the other big deal is they talked about the um paper that I wrote, and I talked about Thurgood Marshall, is the professor who class I took. He's sort of famous, and there I have some other professors who are kind of, famous, especially in their fields. They're very, you know, they're respected. That's what I can say. And so now they're like, well, you know, it would be offensive to say that person would have just given you a B plus if you had problems with the paper. And that's my point. I don't want, this is beginning to sound to me like anything they can do to make me upset, they will do. So they're not happy that in some of my videos I've said things that they find offensive. They said they thought I was with like the God crowd and I wanted to go to Israel. This is my point. How can you say it has no connection to Israel when you guys keep talking about Israel a lot? I'm not with the God group. I'm with the group of people who want people to be freedom, to have democracy. I do not believe your religion should interfere with my life or anyone else's life. So I was talking to my mom again today, and I said, 50 years ago, the women who were around 50 years ago would probably be about 80 now. And 50 years ago, when Roe v. Wade passed, I'm sure they were happy because it gave them the freedom to choose a career over having children, to choose to engage in sexual relationships over having children. It was a choice, and that meant their parents, who would have probably been in their 60s, 70s at the time, 50 years ago, thought it was the best thing. How dare we come around in this generation and not protect those same rights to give 30-year-old women now the same freedoms? When I was 30, I was sexually active. And I want other women to have the freedom to be sexually active. I've said it in other videos. And so part of why I think it's so important to have that freedom as a woman is because we should be able to enjoy a sexual relationship and still have careers and still be able to plan when and how we have our families, or if we have our families. So this video probably won't go up until a few days from now, but I think it's important that we continue to protect those rights for women. And I think it's important that if you find my channel offensive, you don't watch. I would never want anybody to be offended by the way I am and then think that this is okay. I've never been with the God crew. Never. Even when I was a practicing Catholic, I wasn't in the God crew. That's part of why, I voted for Democrats who supported abortion, Democrats who supported gay marriages. And that's a big deal for me. The other big deal is, let me pause this and think, because I don't want to just like, so that was the other point that they were trying to say, that, their whole psychological profile to me depends on being likable. But you cannot be effective, especially in the fields that I've been in, and worry about being likable. Part of this break with their reality comes from the idea that I'm in fields where I have to sometimes be disliked, and it has to be something I can live with. If this is coming from me being disliked, which it's not, it's coming from me not wanting to recruit people into this field. They were upset that I said that they believe in these kind of matching numbers to things, and I do not. That's something they've talked about, and I'll link the particular video that I'm referring to, because they said 420, which is code for marijuana. They partially wanted to legalize marijuana, which it is, and I'm for that. But I'm not for promoting using marijuana. Do you get the difference? Legalization is different from promoting. But they also wanted to legalize prostitution in New York, and I am not for that. So I will not be promoting that. So partially they wanted to recruit me into this idea of
selling people on ideas of things that I am not for. The other big deal about that is 420 in there, this thing adds up to 6. And when I was looking at what this thing is, it's like something like that you match numbers to different words, and like the devil is this number and God is that number. I don't believe in that type of thing, but they're free to believe in it. They can believe in what they want. You know, that's part of what I'm saying. Like, you can have the freedom to believe what you want. You can have the freedom to use your body as you want. You can, and if you're for prostitution, then how could you be with the God group? So they said, something about turning New York City into an area like Amsterdam. I don't think it will work in New York City. Remember, New York City is still a place where we have different religions, different areas. I don't want it to be a tourist place. I would prefer New York to stay what it is. It's a production place. We got movie production, fashion production, financial institutions that produce different financial instruments. So I want us to still produce things, to be the leader in the world. We're one of the world leaders. If there's no one who said, where's New York? No, everybody knows New York. And I want us to stay that way. I do not want to turn this into a place where it's a touristy place and everything is about tourism. Tourism has a part in our economy, but it shouldn't be the main economy in New York. Because I want this to still be a place where native New Yorkers can afford to live. They would turn New York into some touristy place that we can't afford to live here. I think that's all for now. Thank you guys again for watching. I'm going to try to link some of my videos that they're offended by and let you guys see what offends them. Again, that's part of my personality assessment on them. Thank you for watching.